Okay, in today's video, we are going to check out AVAX's price chart and see what is going on there. And a spoiler alert, I am now seeing some extremely bullish signs. But before that, we need to check out this article because now we have more bullish confluence. And as you can see, according to the title of this thing, Avalanche 9000 goes live on testnet, unlocks $40 million of rewards for builders. In this video, first we are going to check out this article and tell you why this is so bullish in AVAX for the long term, and then we are going to check out the live chart and see also what is going on there. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you are having a great time with your family and loved ones, and this article came out about a couple of days ago, and I would like to talk to you about it and tell you why this is a fantastic bullish news. Now, in case that you don't know what Avalanche 9000 is, I should tell you, basically, this is an upgrade in the Avalanche blockchain ecosystem that allows developers to create their own blockchains tailored to their specific needs. These blockchains, which are known as L1 chains, can actually, this is a very important point, interact seamlessly with one another while remaining independent. Now, there are three main key features in here. Number one is interchain messaging, aka ICM. This allows blockchains within the Avalanche's ecosystem to communicate and share liquidity, and basically this means that transactions and resources flow smoothly across these custom blockchains. Number two is customizable settings, and this is, in my opinion, so important, because with this, developers have full control over settings like number one, transaction fees, number two, validation rules, and number three, staking requirements, which enables them to design blockchains for diverse industries, like for example, gaming, finance, and much more. Now, the number three feature, which I think might be much more important than the others, as I'm sure a lot of you know it by now, is lower cost. You see, what they are trying to do with Avalanche 9000 is reducing the cost for blockchain development by eliminating high upfront cost for validators and replacing them with ongoing fees. This is, in my opinion, going to make a huge difference, and it's basically why this is going to be, in my opinion, so successful in the future. So far, basically, I told you what Avalanche 9000 is, and I talked to you about the three main features on it. Now, the question is, why is this so important? Well, that's because traditional blockchains often face issues like congestion and high fees, and these two problems usually go hand to hand. Why is that? Because when you have congestions, then there will be automatically competition over the fees, and that's why the fees just go higher and higher when you have congestions. And this happens, you know it, especially when usage spikes in times like this, when we are having big moves on the upside in the tokens and people are getting just more and more interested in the crypto market. Now, Avalanche 9000 solves these problems by providing scalable and interoperable solutions. And this makes it, in my opinion, just more accessible and efficient for developers and businesses to use blockchain technology, because what you ultimately want in any project in crypto is just more and more adoption. And please, let's not fool ourselves. We are at day zero in terms of adoption in the crypto market. In my opinion, the best days of the crypto is definitely yet to come, and in the next 10 years, we are going to see the true potential of this market. And news like this definitely makes me much more of a believer in the projects that I'm investing, because I told you before, I'm kind of more like a traditional investor, and I do care about the long term of the project that I'm investing. And when I see things like this, I get way more excited rather than, let's say, a 10 to 20% move on the upside in the token in like very short term. So overall, very much positive news for Avalanche in the long term, and the fact that they are aiming to make blockchain development faster, more affordable, also very much accessible to a wider range of users in order to ultimately attract more and more adoption, definitely makes me a lot more optimistic than before. And it makes me say that, you know what, they are going to be a much bigger player than they already are in the future, meaning probably in the next 5 to 10 years, which is making me just more of a believer in Avalanche. Now, in the live chart, we are having also in here some extremely bullish structures, and this is XRP's chart, which by the way is actually playing out nicely. But let's go on AVAX's chart and see what is going on there and why am I now more bullish than before. Okay, I think it was Binance's chart. There we go. You see, if you remember, the last time that we talked about Avalanche, we were right around these areas and I was saying, look, in terms of classic technical analysis, meaning supports and resistances, we are having the most important resistance area in Avalanche, which is from weekly and daily time frame at the same time, and it is here between, let's say, 29 to about $37. And when we get a break of this thing, at that point we can be bullish with a lot more confidence. And right around this area, I told you, look, based on the structures, I believe we are going to get a break of this region, which is going to be a fantastic sign that suggests our bull run is actually going to continue for quite some time. Now, what was those structures? First, I need to tell you that in my analysis, I use a lot of Elliott waves. And in case that you are a new viewer, and I do know that about 80% of you are actually new viewers. So if you're finding any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you sub to my channel. And if you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. My goal in every video is for you to learn something. And this is why I am explaining these things. You see, if you want to argue that, for example, we're going to have our final bottom around here, maybe this is like a very important support area, then okay, you need to be able to find off of the lowest low a 5-wave impulsive structure on the upside. Now, this specific example is a normal 5-wave. The rules for it are we shouldn't have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of impulsive movement, wave 3 right in here should not be the smallest wave. This is a big no-no in Elliott waves, and for the sub waves, we must have 5-wave up into wave 1, 3, 5. Let's just do this. There we go. And for wave 2 and 4, we can have different scenarios. Doesn't really matter a whole lot. Let's say maybe, yeah, a WXY into wave 4. Excuse me. Let's just take this one. And sure, an ABC structure into wave 2. Understood? Okay, let's go on the live chart and see why we are so bullish in Avalanche. First, in the mid to long term, now I'm going to say there's a very high chance that off of this low, about let's say $17, we are having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up into a wave 1. This is a very textbook and clear ABC zigzag into wave 2, and at the moment we are on our way to have a huge move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5, and this is one reason to believe that in the short term our move up is going to continue for quite some time. Now, the specific reason for why in the previous update I told you that we're going to get a move up from this area was that in here, if you remember, we said it before, we are having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, a relatively clear one, and this was a very slow and steady move on the downside, which is a very important characteristic of a correction structure. So in the previous video, I told you, look, this is an impulsive structure followed by that a correction, and overall this is a bullish setup, which suggests after this correction is over, we are going to get a huge move up in order to hopefully get a break of this very important cluster of resistance areas from weekly and daily time frame at the same time, and we got. Now, I want to be very clear, just because I called this move up and it actually happened doesn't mean that I am right 100% of the time. This is absolutely a lie. I'm just trying to get it right 6 out of 10 times. This just happened to be one of those times that I was right. I am going to be wrong at some point. I want you to fully understand that, and do not put a whole lot of hopes in mine, or for that matter any other analysis in the YouTube and Twitter space. Understood? Okay, now let's see what is happening in here. First, the fact that we are in this area consolidating, in my opinion, is absolutely not a bad sign. In fact, I would argue this is actually very much necessary, because if you want to say that this resistance is broken, then okay, you need to see an initial move above this region, and then we need to have some pullback in here, and followed by that, we're going to get a continuation of the move up. And what do we have in here? Pretty much exactly that. This is our initial move up, and we can actually consider this thing as our consolidation pattern above this region. And what is going to happen next? Another huge move on the upside. This is why, in my opinion, AVAX at the moment looks extremely bullish. And even in like very short term, for example, we get a move on the downside. This, in my opinion, is just going to be most likely a long opportunity, because after this is over, I'm expecting a huge move up. Now, why do I say I'm expecting a big move on the upside? Well, because above this area, we're not actually having a whole lot of strong resistances until where you know it if you are an OG viewer, somewhere around the highest high in this region, about, let's say, $65. So based on that, I would like to argue that this move up in Avalanche is going to continue for quite a bit, most likely now in quite a sharp way, to where in order to at least to reach to about this very important area, which is between, let's say, $57 to about $61. So from here, I'm expecting another 40 to even 50% move on the upside. And this thing right in here can actually happen very quickly. And that's why I am so optimistic in the short term on Avalanche's price chart. So I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in AVAX's chart and why am I so bullish. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.